2:10 Wednesday afternoon sees the running of the Brown Advisory Novice Chase over just over 3 miles, which is the artist formerly known as the RSA Chase. A race back in the day I always used to think of was the race to find next year's Gold Cup winner. In recent years, it probably hasn't really panned out that way. I think the last horse to go on and do it was Bobsworth. Mike Bite was a bit unlucky. But someone who used to quite like this race is sat in the middle of the three of you right now. Bill, if I chuck names at you, Lord Windermere, Weapons Amnesty,
Flatline,
Boston's Angel, they're all a few years ago now, aren't they? You're in danger of this not being your race for very much longer. So come on, redeem yourself, get yourself back on track like a good old horse on a comeback mission. Of all the 12 races we're going to cover today, the pressure's on you now to give us the winner of the RSA Chase. Or, apologies to the sponsors, the Brown Advisory.
I think the challenge is funny runners again.
There we go.
Because we've got...
I'll show betting quickly. Quick show betting. Even money favourite Galopin de Champs. 2-1 Bravemansgame. 11-2 Ahoy Senor. 6 Bob Olinger. 7 Capodanno. Long Press shortening up all the time disappointingly 8-1. Jungle Boogie 12. So Galopin runs here or not?
Well, that's the question is whether we get this heavyweight clash between Galopin and Bob Olinger in the Turners first race on Thursday. The market was always expected them to be split. Galopin's come here, Bob Olinger to go to the 2.5 Turners. It's whether reality happens and like a heavyweight clash they do meet. There's still seeds of doubt, I would say, as to whether both will bypass potential easier opportunities and split. My gut feel is we're getting to the point where it's a test of ego, and I'm not sure who's going to back down, and they might end up both going for that Turners, and that's where the market has kind of come down on, and that's why Bravemansgame is heading shorter and shorter, because he could potentially have this for himself. Ahoy Senor has done nothing wrong, but you feel that he could be vulnerable. Capodanno had a fall last time, bruised his shoulder. He's on a comeback trail. You know, he will come here. And you mentioned the dark one is Long Press. Whether they decide to completely bypass the Turners and that massive fight.
Can you imagine bypassing Turners and still racing Galopin in here? I mean,
that's the problem. This is the race where we will know on Monday at 10 o'clock whether they're all lining up, and it's a difficult one. I think, you know, if you were in Venetia Williams' camp, you'd probably think it's worth waiting and going wherever these two great other competitors don't go. It's a massive head scratcher, this race. It's normally a race I've got quite a good lid on. I'd be very keen to go with Long Press if he turned up here, because I think he's a super horse, and I'd rather be with him than Bravemansgame if that's the way it looks. But not confident, because Galopin looks a monster, and if he turned up here, he'd be a well-deserved favourite. But it's the perils of ante-post betting. But you know, I tentatively look at Long Press and say he's the value call at this point, but confused.
Confused is the word. Where do I come to you about the Gordon horses? Do I come to you about your opinion on Galopin? Do I come to you on what's going to run? Do I come to you on what's it like to win the RSA? Well, there's so many. It's impossible. Let's start with Galopin de Champs, who, I mean, in all the years we've been doing these previews, there's always horses that come with massive reputations and things like that. But the talk about this horse this year is stratospheric. I think Andy Holding of Oddschecker, a famer I speak to quite regularly, I think he said he's been doing his figures 25, 26 years. He said this last time I put up the best number out of any horse he's ever rated. And it was only on his second chase start. So whether he's right or wrong, he's obviously an extremely good horse. What's the vibe on the racecourse in Ireland? Just how good this boy is.
Oh, he's full of it. You know, he's just a very, very good horse. But
B.O.B. Olinger.
I think they're reading it wrong. I think Bob Olinger is a better horse. As we sit here today, I think he's a better horse. I think Galopin de Champs has to go and prove it. And saying that, like, if Bob Olinger is going to be a Gold Cup horse, he's got to stay at 3 mile 2. Is he a Ryanair horse or is he a Gold Cup horse? In my eyes, he's a Gold Cup horse, and he goes for this race. I'm not sure, has it been said that he goes for the other race? I don't know, but I think Bob Olinger should go for this race, and I think he'll win this race. I think he will win.
Do you think he'd win either race he ran in, though?
Well, you look at the other race, it's 2 mile 3.5. So he's going to come down a furlong and a half from what he won at the festival last year. Galopin des Champs would definitely be an awful lot harder to beat over 2-3.5 than he would be over 3 miles. I feel if the two of them go here, I think Bob Olinger will beat him, because I just think he's a better stay-in, chasing horse. And I think Galopin des Champs will go the other way, go 2-3.5 or 2-4, call it what you like. That's the way I read it. I don't know. I do know if I was back in the day, they had only one race to go on, I would be full of Bob Olinger.
Well, you've always said that, and you've always been right.
Yeah.
So we'll keep that. Of the English,
of huge respect for someone like Bravemansgame. Spectacle. I don't know. I have rode against him over hurdles, but just watching him over fences, and again, just looking at the corner screen the whole time, 30 miles an hour, take off, landing at a fence, 30 miles an hour. It goes, and next thing, you're watching him going down to the last and up to the line, and he hits 32 miles an hour, kind of not at full stretch. He is, to watch visually, is just fantastic to watch. But then again, you watch him the last day, and it's kind of, the start of the year was way better than it was now, and that would play in the way he was over hurdles. That he's just not. He doesn't finish off the year the same way he starts it. He's definitely a better horse for me at the start of the year than he is at the end of the year.
Do you think
it's a track thing too? It's Cheltenham. He's got to show that he can do it at Cheltenham. That's my niggle with him too.
You've had these two great matchups either side of the Irish Sea, haven't you, with Galopin and Bob Olinger that we're waiting to see, and the Davy Russell and Ahoy Senor we have seen over here. And can we get all four of them chucked into the melting pot?
Bob Olinger is a better horse than Bravemansgame now.
Yeah, well, he's proved that, hasn't he, at Cheltenham,
Yeah. He's just a very, very good horse now. If Galopin des Champs comes and you'd love to see them all. Oh my God, you'd be on about the Supreme Novices. Imagine if they all pitched up here. Now that would be speed, and what would happen then is it would turn into a real staying race. But it
might make the Turners winnable.
Yeah.
I think the main thing is that when you look at the two connections with Willie and Henry, they've both come out and said that there's no need to step them up yet. We've got time. That's why the 2 mile 4 race is the right race. And then it becomes a battle of wills, and it's who's going to back down. And they both kind of committed to the Turners rather than this.
Yeah, the only thing I'd say is Bob Olinger comes off the bridle earlier than Galopin des Champs. Well, Galopin des Champs doesn't come off the bridle, hasn't come off the bridle. And then you have to weigh up their competitors. So, like Bob Olinger had to get down and dirty in Punchestown
to beat Capodanno, who's obviously Willie's, who he probably knows where he is with Galopin, and that's probably why he's thinking, right, we're happy to take him on over 2.5, coming back in trip rather than up in trip.
Yeah, whereas I think that Bob Olinger could go up in trip and actually improve.
So I think you've Bob Olinger over Galopin, but if either of them
over 3 miles.
Yeah. But if either of them turned up, you think they'd be better than the English?
I do.
Yeah,
yes.
I do too. Bill, I think you tend to agree with that, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, and Flynn. I mean,
just say 6-1. Are you saying 6-1 now about Bob Olinger?
Yes.
Like,
it's got to run. That's the point. Yeah.
I understand that, but if he is a sole one of what price is he against Bravemansgame? If it's, we'll just say if it's Bravemansgame and Bob Olinger.
Oh, he'd be favourite Bob Olinger.
But would he be even money?
Possibly.
Because
I think looking at this race, I really just think that Galopin and Bob aren't going to go. I think they'll go Turner's route. I really think they will. I think the race will have Bravemansgame, Ahoy Senor, Capodanno. I still think the long press will go to the Turner's route. So then if it's spinning out, and then you're thinking the Bravemansgame could be an even money poke here rather than 2-1.
Do we think Ahoy Senor can turn it around with the Bravemansgame? When he beat him at Christmas, he never jumped a twig.
No, jumped very poor.
He jumped with the Paul, and then he came back. I think he won well at Wetherby. You're saying, and I agree with you. One's going that way, the other's going that way to like this time of year. I like Ahoy Senor. I really do. And I think he's a confirmed runner here, which, unlike any of the others, is half the battle. I think, what price did we say Ahoy Senor?
Ahoy Senor is 11-2.
What price is long press?
Long press is 8.
You might not have 8 runners, right? Ahoy Senor.
You'll have 8 runners. Surely, 3 Mile Novice Chase. Surely.
I mean, but further down, Gordon's got a few in there, hasn't he?
Sure.
So, Farouk Delen, Beacon Edge, are they likely runners here, would you know?
Farouk has to be, I would imagine there would want to be rainfall.
Beacon Edge is no mead.
Beacon Edge is no mead. He'll run here. Beacon Edge will run here. What?
Fury Road.
Yeah,
Fury Road, yeah.
Talk about. I think he's got a right chance here, Fury Road.
Yeah, but Fury Road, getting back to his hurdling, was keeping tip-top company as a novice hurdler.
Yeah.
Missed a year.
Time Hill Monkfish. He was in that kind of four-way.
He split.
He's well punted in that one.
He split the two of them. Very good horse. Stays 3 miles around the course. There's no reason. Jumps fantastic. Has proved it a Grade 1 company.
He was sent off nearly favourite for the Stayers last year and bombed out. Was there?
Yeah.
Punted off the show massive last year.
4-1 he went up.
Yeah, huge punt.
I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why he didn't run his race, but he ran it the year before. Anyway, for sure, he ran a hell of a good race. Like, I landed at the back of the last, and it took Monkfish all out to Cheltenham, and Cheltenham is all he done, and Monkfish then went on to win last year's RSA, so it could be a line of form, it could be.
Just touching on Fury Road, I mean, if we go back to the Grade 1 that he won over Christmas, he's beat Run Well Fred by 8 lengths, who's obviously well tied for the National Hunt Chase. He's beat Vanillier by 18 lengths. I mean, that's a proper performance. He's ran to an RPR of 158. He's 14-1 here. If you think that Galopin and Bob aren't going to go for this, your Bravemansgame, your Ahoy Senor, Long Press might not go. Fury Road could be a 6-1 shot today.
He's got fair form around Cheltenham as well.
Yeah.
I know you've said that, but that we keep coming back to that point. If nothing else, if you want one thing or one statistic or anything to hang on to for your punting leading into Cheltenham form is everything, isn't it?
Yeah. And his last run was close enough to his run before.
And he made a terrible mistake. About 4 out.
He was over short as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he made over 2.5.
It was 2.5, yeah.
He made a terrible mistake, 4 out, whatever.
He's a very good jumper of a fence now. He's a bloody good horse and a beautiful specimen to look at. He has it all, yeah. I wouldn't. But then again, you see, it's hard to talk about him because he's probably a step below Bob Olinger. Yeah, but only just a kick now.
I think from a betting point of view, when you're picking these races apart, and if I'm thinking that 2 of the main ones here are going to go somewhere else, that does leave value in the market. I think Bravemansgame is very, very solid. That handicap performance last time out, he's beaten 2 horses who are probably well in, and the RPR show that, and he's won well off 159. But I think the Fury Road at the prices is probably the each way play for me, sir.
I actually wasn't impressed by him the last time.
Were you not?
No.
What, the jumping or the performance?
Idled a bit.
Everything. It's not what you expect from, a future World Cup horse. I just don't know. I just don't know. He just didn't. It wasn't real authority. Like, he wasn't lifting his hands off his withers to put him back. I do know. I put it to this way: if Galopin de Chambre, Bob Olinger ran in that, Rachel Blackmore, Paul Townend would be slowing them down, trying to coming up the straight. Whereas Harry had to keep niggling away.
The yard weren't going any form at the time, though. Do you know what I mean?
So straight away afterwards that we'll change the tactics. We need to hold on to him. He needs to hit the front too soon.
But they've made a run with him pretty much every time. Like, I don't think they can do that as a plus. They done it last year, and his novice hurling didn't work out. That they changed tactics and dropped him in Cheltenham, and that didn't make any difference. So I'm not sure changing the tactics. I definitely think he's the best jumper in the field, and for that reason, Galopin Champ has 2 runs. Bob Olinger has 2 runs, and he's got the experience. I'd be in front of them rather than be behind them. If I was riding them and slowing it down to my pace.
Right. Selection time.
Oh, Bob Olinger wins for me.
So Bob Olinger, okay, with them all in, you're going to go Bob Olinger.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand that. If Galopin and Bob don't run, which is looking likely,
I would have said Bravemansgame, but that's only just trying to pick something out.
Yeah.
That's, you know, I would have said just visually, but again, I have my worries about the way last year went.
Okay, with Bob and Galopin running, if they both ran in this,
No chance.
exactly, but that's the question I've asked Davey, because he wants it. So the question I'm asking you is, if Bob and Galopin both ran in this race, who, and all the others, of course, who would your selection be?
They say a good chess player can see 5 or 6 moves ahead. And Flynn touched on about ante-post betting being the thrill of without the non-run no bet. I would gamble and go with 8-1 long press, because I think that's the only move for Venetia. If both of them turned up in the Turners, you'd be mad to go and dance in that race. You've got to come here with long press over 3. Looks like he stays. Potentially the best novice chaser this side of the RSC. I think 8s is just a fair bet. Look, if they stick to the original plan, because Bob and Galopin are split, it looks like we are close. It looks like they're not going to get split, and they're both going to go to the Turners. For me, I would have to go long press in this.
What's the name of the cup? The Webster Cup. What's the name of the cup we get for
The English Irish
Pressbury
Cup.
Yeah.
I tell you one thing.
No wonder you didn't know it. He's only in it a year.
What way are you betting?
We've actually priced up the handicap, so we're...
You start with 8 winners on the board to make it a fair match. A bit like the rugby, plus 8.5. England
Are we having a charity bet today or something? No.
What, you want to be with the Irish or the English?
No, but 8 for the English.
You start 8.5, so you're 1 to 20 to win it. £20 wins, £1 for you to win the Pressbury Cup.
No.
Do you think you'll win by more than 8?
No, I think the English have shouts in a lot of races.
GB, if you bet GB plus 8.5, they would have to get 10 winners. This is discounted if there's any French winners.
What's it, 26? Is it 26? What's the winning total?
There's 28.
Is a high senior?
28 races.
Who's a high senior?
Scottish.
British.
Does that
We'll have him. He's in our camp.
What happens if
we're calling all?
What if it happens if Ian Ferguson pitches up at 1?
Well, I guess then it would just minus it off, wouldn't it? So you don't want to bet the GBs.
The old klaxon will be sounded.
Yeah.
You'll be running in the old stewards.
18-10. Yeah, that's the
selection.
I'll be happy enough to take Fury Road each way at 14, because trying to anticipate that the race will cut up and he might be 6-8 on the day.
Yeah, I don't think Galopin or Bob or Long Press will run here. I think all 3 go in the other race, and I think that makes Ahoy Senor each way 11-2 now a lovely each way bet. An intriguing race. Thanks for your thoughts.